This video is brought to you by my new album entitled Dougal's Treats. It's full of hummable melodies, bluesy riffs and the occasional bit of virtuoso flashy stuff as well. If you enjoy bluesy rock guitar with memorable tunes and solos that wail like a banshee, then check out the links in the description. The premium version includes all of the tabs for each tune, videos and jam tracks as well. Thanks for listening. Now on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Whenever I do any of these Top 5 Tuesday videos where I'm venting my spleen a little bit, they seem to do rather well. So, you know, I'll give the audience what they want. I'm responsive in that way. So today I'm going to be talking about, well, you know what I'm going to be talking about because you've seen the title and the thumbnail. 5 aspects of guitar consumerism. 5 trends in the guitar industry that just don't interest me at all. And whether that says something about me or whether it says something about the trend in question, I will leave that up to you. I am not here, I want to make this absolutely clear, passing judgment on, you know, what your tastes may be if you have a different opinion to me on this. I'm just kind of saying, yeah, these things that everybody seems to be banging on about, I'm not interested in that. So what are those 5 things? Well, let's have a look, starting with
relicing.
Yes, we have Keith Richards to thank for the ongoing trend of relicing. I thought this would be a passing phase back in the 1990s when it first happened. Keith was given some guitars by Fender, and he said they looked too new, and could he get them beaten up a little bit? And you know, then started the industry of relicing. You know, people you know, kind of throwing bunches of keys at pristinely finished guitars to put some dents and scrapes into them, and you know, and all that sort of stuff. I don't get it. I really don't. You know, I mean, it's just the old thing of like, you wouldn't you know, kind of pick up the phone and speak to the local BMW showroom and ask them for, you know, what their latest model is. Oh, and can I have it with some rust on the bonnet, and you know, the seat bolsters to be a little bit threadbare. It's just, yeah, that is the comparison that's always made, and apparently people who make that comparison are missing something obvious. Well, yeah, probably I am. Oh, but yes, they feel so great and played in. Well, is it not possible to make a guitar that feels great to play without making it look like it's been buried in a peat bog or used as a welder's bench for 40 years? I don't get relicing. Maybe you do. There we go. I think we'll just have to differ on that one. Next,
the FX rabbit hole.
Yes, it seems like every week, or sometimes more than once a week, there's some new, in inverted commas, game changer of an effects pedal or whatever. It could be some multi-effects from the likes of, I don't know, Fractal or Line 6 or Neural DSP that has 12 different amp models in it that you can pair up with a similar number of impulse responses. And if that isn't enough for you, you can always import your own speaker simulation impulse responses, and you can have, you know, a bajillion effects blocks in each chain, and you know, you can split the signal chain and dual amp and go stereo and all this kind of stuff. It's exhausting. It just, you know, do you remember the days when it was really simple? You needed a clean sound, you needed a dirty sound, and maybe something somewhere in between that you would often get just by dialing in the dirty sound and backing off the guitar's volume a little bit, just to kind of get it to a little bit more edge of breakup. And if you were feeling particularly adventurous, a chorus pedal, and maybe adjust the reverb on your amp. Life was so much simpler then, wasn't it? And if it's not some, you know, kind of NASA-inspired multi-effects unit, it'll be, you know, some boutique drive pedal, you know, where they seem to, have you noticed that they seem to like using playing cards, ace of this, duke of that, queen of this, or king of something else, and, you know, or, you know, if it's a Clon Centaur coupled with a TS-808 tube driver with hints of, a Timmy overdrive, and let's not forget the Boss ODR one, and all of these kind of things, and you can tweak it and you can dial it, and I just want something that's going to give me a punchy power chord sound with a bit of crunch on it, It's and they're always about 300 quid. It's just for kind of fattening up a lead tone, or kind of getting that Angus Young tone for your cover version of Back in Black that you do at the Nag's Head on a Friday night. I've got a clean sound, I've got a dirty sound, and I chuck on a little bit of reverb and delay as I'm recording it, and that's it. That's all I need. Do you really need any more than that? Let me know. Next.
More than 6 strings.
Yeah, 7-string guitars have a bit of a history, going all the way back to jazz guitarist George Van Epps, who was, when was he, kind of 30s, 40s, sometime around then. But they really kind of came into fruition, I guess, in the modern era with Steve Vai's 7-string Ibanez back in late 80s, early 90s, around about the time he was in Whitesnake, and then he did that Passion and Warfare album, an album I bought, listened to once, and then thought, nah. It was, it just wasn't for me, that album. It was just a lot of, it was too long. It was that early era of CDs when, because the medium could fit 75 minutes worth of music, every album had to be 75 minutes long. But I digress. Yeah, 7-string guitars. I don't think Steve plays them much these days, does he? I'm not sure about that, but whenever I've seen videos of him on YouTube and stuff, he's just going back to his white Ibanez Gem, the Evo one, which is his number one guitar, I believe. And then, it got kind of taken up by the chugga drop-tuned metal guys, which, at one point they were sort of teaming up with the hippity-hoppity blokes, weren't the rappers. And that was a combination that, I decided to give a very wide berth to, if I'm honest. I'm a classic rock, blues rock dinosaur. I need 6 strings and, tuned E, A, D, G, B, E. In that system, I know where all the notes are, and I can do everything I want to do musically, thank you very much, with an occasional detour into a little bit of Keith Richards' open G tuning for when I want that Stonesy kind of sound. 7 strings, 8 strings, it's whatever that is, it gives you is something that I have no use for. It's just not where I'm at musically, and it's just, it seems to be that there are more and more companies, again, coming down to the budget end of the price spectrum, who are now offering, the 7 and 8 string guitars for, clearly aimed at beginners or, kind of novice players, shall we say. And, it's fortunately I don't have any students on my books who are asking me about that kind of thing, because I think I'm known as the classic rock, blues rock dinosaur guy, and that's they tend to be the kind of clientele that I attract, thankfully. But yeah, more than 6 strings. If it floats your boat, good luck to you, but I'm not going anywhere near it. Next.
Old guitars with big price tags.
Otherwise known as vintage guitars. I will admit that I've changed my tune on this a little bit within the past year or so, really. I always thought, it'd be great to have like an old 59 Les Paul, wouldn't it? Be great, because that's the holy grail, And, well, yeah, I can't sort of say I woke up on, kind of October the 29th, and that was the day that my mind had been changed. But it's just, I've noticed that I'm not, kind of guitar porn browsing for old guitars like that anymore, looking at reverb listings, looking at, kind of vintage and rare guitar sales listings. It's just, I'm just not doing that. And I don't know. I'm just not interested in vintage guitars. I like new stuff. Do you know what I mean? I like stuff that's that I don't have to worry about where it's been a lot of the time and what it's had done to it. And as I say, it's the whole vintage guitar thing really kind of kicked off in the 70s, didn't it? Because Fender and Gibson were, producing some guitars of rather patchy quality, it has to be said. So people sought out the old ones, the second-hand ones, the used ones, the pawn shop guitars, because A, they were better quality, and B, because they were on the used market, they were cheaper than buying the slightly patchy quality new equivalent. And then, of course, the market notices a trend and old guitars start going up in price because they're more in demand. And then, when there's a marketplace that's kind of in the ascendancy, the antennae of various collectors starts twitching and they start buying them up, and that's where the whole vintage guitar thing comes from. And ironically now, I was walking past our local branch of Cash Converters in town a few months ago, and there was a 70s Telecaster in the window, and I went in, had a look at it, kind of picked it up. It was a real proper boat anchor of a guitar, you could not wear that for an entire gig. Not unless you're built like Arnold Schwarzenegger or somebody, but it's definitely going to kind of make you wake up with an ache or pain or two the next day. And the neck wasn't really particularly stable. It was a typical patchy quality 70s Fender guitar, and they were wanting well into 4 figures for it because it was a vintage guitar. See what I'm saying? It was those kind of guitars that made people go out and want the better stuff from a decade or so beforehand. And now, just because of the passage of time, this guitar that was driving that people wouldn't have touched with a barge pole in the 70s because they were after the older stuff, that's now become a vintage instrument. Leave me out of it. Next.
Guitar synthesizers.
Do you know the reason why I love the guitar? It's the sound that it makes, mainly. Right from my earliest memories. The first time I ever heard music that made me go all warm and fuzzy inside was when I was a toddler. I heard on the radio Apache by Hank Marvin and the Shadows. And before then, music had been The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round, and this was something, this is proper music, is it? And right from then, I've been in love with the sound of the electric guitar. Why do I want to change that sound to something else? Why do I'm going to pick up my electric guitar and make it sound like a cello or a harpsichord or a trumpet? And the thing is, whenever I've tried using a guitar synth, because I've had a little bit of a dabble in them in the past, the first thing that I always notice is that maybe it's just the way I play, the tracking is always really bad. You've got to play so coldly and clinically, I find, that in order for it not to detect stray wrong notes and put those in. But whenever you do that, you think, I'll use a trumpet sound for this, and it ends up sounding like a really bad trumpeter. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather put a good sounding guitar part in than a bad sounding trumpet part. That's just my experience. As I say, with all of these things, these are just personal opinions. If you love your guitar synthesizers and you can't get enough of them, and you love the flexibility and the creative opportunities they give you, well, I can see that argument. All I'm saying is that, like all of these things, they're not for me. So there you go. Those are the 5 guitar trends, the 5 aspects of guitar consumerism that just leave me cold. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. If you think I'm a blithering idiot and I've been waffling on about absolute irrelevancies, then feel free to do that, because, clicks and comments equal engagement equal YouTube revenue, frankly. So I don't mind if you call me an idiot. But if you've got a similar list of your own, then let me know what you think down in the comments below. But that's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this little opportunity for me to vent my spleen and get some stuff out there. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we just chat and drink beer, basically, and it's a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it, but for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.